to address the issue of urban apathy. We found that there is generally an urban apathy. If I can give you an example, in the 2019 elections, general elections, and if we list all the, say, 7-8 districts where the voting has been least, 4 of them happen to be the metropolitan cities. It's all in our statistics book, which we have published. I am not naming them here, but we are focusing on the urban apathy very, very seriously. In this, our CEOs are signing the MOUs with the departments and with the industry and with the organizations who have more than 500 persons. And we have reached out to the colleges and the educational institutions. What is expected is that after the voting, if the nodal officers are appointed in these organizations with 500 plus voters, and we will try and persuade those voters after the elections, the leave-taking and non-voting voters, we will try and reach to them and say, please join next time. So that's a kind of a awareness which we will start. The Election Commission of India, in pursuance of the legal amendments, had made 4 dates, as you are all aware. And this, by virtue of this, there is a now every quarter, first of the every quarter, one can apply for the registration. And the new, now onwards, the electoral rolls will be updated every quarter. और निर्वाचन आयोग की इस पहल पर कानून में जो बदलाव किए गए, जिसके कारण 4 डेट्स में संभव है, और अब पोल गोइंग स्टेट्स में नामांकन के दिन तक भी अभी मतदाता में सूची में नाम जुड़वाया जा सकता है। तो इसमें यह भी आपके माध्यम से अनुरोध है कि अगर इतनी मेहनत करके नए वोटर्स को जोड़ने के लिए कमीशन ने और फील्ड स्टाफ ने मेहनत की है, तो उनको भी आगे बढ़ के वोट देने आना चाहिए। Friends, I'll also tell you how many specifically benefited by this amendment. I'll come to it and tell you. In an election, voters are our primary stakeholders, and therefore, even those who do not have a voter epic, by and large, we have now ensured that the voting epic card reaches everyone. It's being delivered even now, but by chance, if you don't have, there are these many, almost a dozen other documents through which one can vote. So one need not be worried. What is important is to come to the booth with any one of these, even if one doesn't have an epic. Now the next important thing is the polling station. And that's the next point at which we interact with the voter. The effort is to make the voting experience, it's quite protocol based, but we are still trying that the experience becomes far more enjoyable in the true spirit of the festival of the democracy. Our COs and DOs have been asked to identify the lowest polling percentage booth in each constituency. This is what we are doing to increase our awareness and persuade the voters to come and vote. And they are going personally to the polling stations which are having the least percentage of voting below the average in their each respective constituencies. So they'll try and find out what is the issue, why there is an lesser percentage of voting in those particular booths. They'll try and bring them up to the level of the general voting in that particular constituency. Friends, कमीशन का एक दूसरा फोकस है जो हमेशा रहा है, उसमें आगे हर बार नई चीज जुड़ती है, वो ये है कि हर पोलिंग स्टेशन पर कुछ बेसिक सुविधाएं निश्चित रूप से उपलब्ध रहनी चाहिए। तो ये जितनी बेसिक सुविधाएं हम आपको स्लाइड के माध्यम से भी दिखा रहे हैं, एवरी पोलिंग स्टेशन वुड हैव ए रैंप which is accessible for the PWDs, drinking water, electricity, shade, and volunteers for the PWDs for the old age. Every polling station would be on a ground floor so that it is not problematic for anybody to climb. तो जितना भी कंफर्ट पोलिंग स्टेशन पे दे सकते हैं वो देने का प्रयास हम लोग कर रहे हैं, और इन इलेक्शंस में 100% सर्टिफिकेट डीओ से लिया जा रहा है कि सब पोलिंग स्टेशंस पर ये सुविधाएं उपलब्ध हैं। फ्रेंड्स, कुछ पोलिंग स्टेशन ऐसे होंगे जिसमें जो सिर्फ महिलाओं के द्वारा ही मैनेज्ड होंगे. All polling personnel and also even the security staff, 100% women oriented. So this is every assembly would have at least one and more in certain pockets. So महिलाओं के सशक्तिकरण को दर्शाने का चुनावों के इस माध्यम से भी हम लोग एक बहुत सशक्त माध्यम बनाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं, ताकि एक्सपीरियंस भी एक बहुत अच्छा हो और साथ साथ एक सशक्तिकरण को भी वो प्रदर्शित कर सके. फ्रेंड्स, सिमिलरली some polling stations will be managed entirely by our PWD staff, or they will be ready to welcome the voters. And आपके माध्यम से ये भी हम लोग कहना चाहते हैं, और कमीशन में बहुत ही इसके बारे में सेंसिटिविटी है, कि जो PWDs हैं वो एक्चुअली बहुत मायने में हमसे बहुत ज्यादा एबल्ड हैं. उनका चिंतन, उनका भाव, उनके इमोशंस, उनकी सहनशीलता, बहुत चीज हम लोगों से ज्यादा है. सो व्हाट दे रिक्वायर इज एसेंशियली द इक्विटी एंड इक्वल अपॉर्चुनिटीज, नॉट mere sympathy. And therefore we are very, very conscious that we will cover all the PWDs, mark them. I'll give you a figure as to how much we have marked all India, and you would be happy to know that. I'll come to that slowly. Now, maybe at the cost of repeating, I would reiterate, if we as the Election Commission team put in such concerted efforts to ensure a polling station within 2-kilometer reach for voters, replete with all kinds of facilities, I would appeal to the voters to value their hard-earned right to franchise and come out to vote in maximum numbers, so that मतदाता रूपी इंद्रधनुष हर बूथ पर दिखाई दे. Now I come to, friends, the postal ballot facility for the absentee voters, because it would be happening first time in these elections. Commission has decided and introduced this in the last round of elections, that 80 plus age voters, PWDs and COVID infected voters, we would provide a form 12D, and if they are willing, if they want to come to the polling station, every effort would be made to make it very, very comfortable there, and we encourage it. But in case somebody is ill and is not able to come, the commission would go to their house and get the vote conducted. And जैसे पिछली बार एक दो जगह में ये सूचना मिली थी कि कुछ शिकायत मिलने की उम्मीद थी कि आपने वोटर्स का, उनका कोई इन्फ्लुएंस हो सकता है घर पर, उसको खत्म करने के लिए भी एवरी एंटायर प्रोसेस वुड बी वीडियोग्राफ्ड. साथ में कैंडिडेट्स के एजेंट्स को पहले से ही सूचित किया जाएगा कि किस दिन वोट लेने जाएंगे, वो साथ में जाएंगे, जा सकते हैं, एंड एवरीथिंग वुड बी वीडियोग्राफ्ड. So, without compromising the secrecy of vote, the facility of voting would be extended right from the comfort of their home. And you would be happy to know, in the entire country, there are 1.82 crores voters who are 80 plus. And you would further be happy to know there are 100 plus voters, centenarians, who are crossing 2.5 lakhs. Imagine that they are all part of our voter list. And we are so happy, so privileged to serve them better. Actually, किसी भी सोसाइटी में अगर हम एल्डर्स की देखभाल नहीं करते, उनको सम्मान नहीं दे सकते, तो it's not a right way of our human behavior. तो हम लोग इसके बारे में बहुत सजग हैं, और वोट की सीक्रेसी को पूर्णतः अक्षुण्ण रखते हुए उनके घर से वोट भी लेंगे अगर उन्हें इस बात की जरूरत होगी. Similarly, for PWDs, all the facilities starting from a volunteer to the wheelchair, if they require, would all be available at the booths. And again, to give you another interesting figure, there are 82 lakhs PWDs also who are marked in our voter list. And our entire effort is to make it inclusive and accessible. The Commission puts a whole lot of emphasis on making the elections truly participative, accessible for all our PWD brothers and sisters. Friends, I would just briefly touch the technological interventions. There is a whole lot of technology which will go into the elections, starting from for the ease of the voters and also for managing the inducement-free elections. Firstly, the voter helpline, you can see all kinds of informations in that, including your booth location, including the candidates, the informations about them and results. The another interesting and very important application is a C-Vigil application. What it does, any voter can make any complaint, and the moment he load, either he can take a picture from his mobile, he can write on a paper and take a photo, or he can type. And the moment he sends a message to C-Vigil, his longitude and latitude is automatically fed. Means his location, geolocation is known. And our team will reach within 60 minutes flat and would answer in 90 minutes. So what we are saying, what we are appealing through you to our voters, कि अगर कहीं भी कोई भी दुरुपयोग मनी पावर का, नार्कोटिक्स का, ड्रग्स का, किसी भी तरीके का उनको नजर आता है, किसी भी पोलिंग पार्टी का कोई चीज गलत नजर आती है, तो कृपया उसको सी विजिल पे डालें. कुछ स्टेट्स ने बहुत इफेक्टिवली सशक्त तरीके से इसको यूज किया, एंड दिस इज बिकमिंग एन इंटरेस्टिंग टूल इन आवर हैंड्स टू कंट्रोल द menace of any kind of money or the power or misuse by anybody. So please, again I would request that agar nagrik vigilant hai, so vigilant nagrik, C is the citizen, become vigilant, and it is your election. If you would help us, we will guarantee that in 100 minutes you get a written response on the same mobile number from which you make a complaint. Similarly, PWD app also gives the opportunity to the PWD voters to go there and even register for facilities or facilitation at the booth. उनको कुर्सी चाहिए, उनको कोई मदद चाहिए, वो वॉलंटियर तो मिलेगा ही, वो सब इस पर पहले से बुक कर सकते हैं. Another interesting and very critical application is KYC, know your candidate. तो कैंडिडेट का पूरा एफिडेविट, which will give all his assets and liabilities and all the criminal background, if any, would be made available to the voters. Through this app of Know Your Candidate, अगर किसी भी कैंडिडेट की कोई भी राजनीतिक कोई भी आपराधिक पृष्ठभूमि है, तो वो इस पर स्पष्ट रूप से दिखाई देगी क्या अपराध है उनके ऊपर में, किस तरीके की एफआईआर है, उसकी क्या डिटेल्स हैं, केस की क्या स्टेटस है. एंड इन एडिशन, एज यू ऑल नो, 3 times दे विल हैव टू पब्लिश इन द न्यूज़पेपर्स. तो कमीशन का काम है कि अगर की क्रिमिनलिटी इन द इलेक्शंस, इन द पॉलिटिक्स गेट्स एलिमिनेटेड, रिड्यूस्ड, इफ नॉट एलिमिनेटेड, उसके लिए हम ऐसी व्यवस्था करें कि कम से कम उसकी पृष्ठभूमि वोटर के सामने स्पष्ट दिखाई दे. Then it is voter's choice. We enable the voter to take an informed choice. It's part of the disclosure. And all the assets, liabilities would also be known in this. So your constituency, your candidate, his background, financial, criminal, if any, would all be known through the Know Your Candidate. So please use this. Not for voters, for the candidates also, there is an application called Suvidha. जितनी भी entitlements उनके हैं, वो सब ऑनलाइन अप्लाई कर सकते हैं. एंड वी हैव डायरेक्टेड, कमीशन इज डायरेक्टेड दैट इट विल बी सर्व्ड टू द कैंडिडेट्स ऑन फर्स्ट इन फर्स्ट आउट बेसिस, सो दैट देयर इज नो बायस. Whosoever locks in first, whosoever applies for a ground or for any facility first, and if that is a limited space, he or she will be given the candidate first. Friends, we also had a detailed interaction with the enforcement agencies, and to just tell you that no cash would move in the poll-going states between after 5 o'clock till 10 o'clock in the morning. Banks have been directed कि कोई भी कैश का मूवमेंट अपनी वैन के थ्रू नहीं करेंगे. ऐसा देखा गया है कि उसी वैन को यूज करके कुछ ना कुछ लोग कोशिश कर सकते हैं कि उसमें कैश मूव हो इलीगल, उसको मना किया गया. एयरपोर्ट्स वुड बी अंडर वॉच. The GST would keep a track on all the e-bills to find out that no consumer goods, there is no spurt in supply of consumer goods in that particular state for distribution as a freebie or as an inducement. All the borders would be sealed in these states. There would be there would be strict watch on any kinds of money or cash or drugs or that kind of thing. Friends, during this phase in the communication age, there are a whole lot of misinformation and fake news and narratives which get generated. So through you again, we request the voters to be vigilant, to at least see that पिछले कितने इलेक्शन में सेम न्यूज़ उसी प्रकार से चल चुकी है, उसको कम से कम आगे बढ़ाने से पहले अपनी थोड़ी सी विजडम लगा के सोच लें कि ये सच हो सकती है कि नहीं. फेक नैरेटिव्स में आगे बढ़ाने में मदद ना करें. अगर लगता है ठीक है तो जरूर आगे बढ़ाएं, उनका हक है. बट वी हैव एस्टेब्लिश्ड सोशल मीडिया टीम्स इन द सीओ ऑफिस and all the district magistrates and SSP's offices to keep a strict watch. And if anybody tries to create rumors or create fake news or news which are objectionable, the appropriate action the teams would take as mandated under the law. So, having given you an overview of the efforts which have gone into the entire preparation, now I would come to the main thing for which you are waiting. And to tell you first, the term of the Legislative Assembly of Himachal Pradesh is expiring on 8th of January 2023. And there are 68 ACs across 12 districts, and with the specific seats reserved for SCs and STs. So out of 68, 17 seats are reserved for SCs and 3 seats are reserved for STs. As you see the data on this slide, the forthcoming legislative election, our teams would be ready to serve more than 55 lakh electors, of whom about 67,000 are service voters and 56,000 in the state of Himachal would be PWDs. And you would be happy to know that there are 1,184 voters who are 100 plus. And we have reached everybody's house as a mark of respect towards them. And you will be happy to know, and it's a motivational thing for our young voters. There are voters who have voted in all elections since 1950. All, including the local body elections. And there are 1,184, and they come to, many of them come to the booth. They say we do not need the Form 12D, we'll come to the booth. So they are really the source of inspiration for all of us. And हमने उनको सबके घर में एक चिट्ठी भेज के अपने BLO साहब के थ्रू या अफसर्स के थ्रू सबको सम्मानित भी किया और आभार भी प्रकट किया कि आप ही की प्रेरणा से बाकी लोग भी आगे बढ़ के वोट दे सकें. Friends, there are 1.2 lakh voters who would be 80 plus in Himachal, and 1.86 lakh voters would be first time voters between 18 years and 19 years. And these are the one with whom we are very, very focused way we are connecting with all of them by organizing large number of events in their colleges and institutions. As you know, the amendment in section 14 enabled us to register voters in the 4 qualifying dates. तो आप इसको अगर मैं ऐसे समझाऊं कि जो लोग 1 जनवरी अगर ये अमेंडमेंट ना होता तो 1 जनवरी 22 को जो भी लोग 18 इयर्स के हो गए वही वोटर बन पाते. उसके बाद में 1 जनवरी 23 की क्वालिफाइंग डेट से वोटर बनते. बट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस चेंज in Himachal alone, those who were born after 1st January 22 but before October 22, 43,173 additional voters have been enrolled and they would be able to participate in this festival. This is only because of the amendment which happened. And you can extrapolate it and see because of these 4 changes. And now what we have done and what will happen in the SSR now, even if somebody is 17 and is going to be 18 next year till October 2023, in the new SSR which is coming in the entire country, they can apply in advance. And we take the responsibility of keeping that application with us and making him or her the voter the date on his or her birthday. And our officers will send them a kit, a welcome kit for the new voters, which will contain the epic card, which will contain how to vote, which will contain about how the EVMs function, which will contain the digital, the website links to where they can educate themselves about the election process. We, through you, call upon all voters in Himachal to come out and vote. Their participation should take inspiration from the elders who are there in that state, and our fervent appeal that all stakeholders maintain COVID-appropriate behavior. Friends, आयोग ने हमेशा मीडिया को चुनावी प्रक्रिया में अपना सबसे बड़ा एलाई माना है. It's a kind of a natural ally. That is why first time we come here and announce. There is nobody who comes to know of this. मैं दोहराना चाहूंगा कि आपके माध्यम से सभी वोटर्स को एक बार पुनः अपील करेंगे. And the exact schedule for the state would be as it's being shown on your slides. वो दे दो notification की date. If it is visible, the date for the Gazette notification would be 17th October. The election would be in one phase. Last date for nomination would be 25th October, that is Tuesday. Date for scrutiny would be 27th. Last date for withdrawal would be 29th. And date of poll 12th November. And date of counting 8th December. And the entire process is completed by 10th of December. So again, through you with the appeal to all the voters on behalf of all of us to come and vote in the state of Himachal, I hand over to Shefali ji back. Thank you.
We'll take questions. Neeraj, आप शुरू करें.